Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. Hashtag senior living. Hashtag no classes. Hashtag bumming. Hashtag turn down for what?
Yeah, I'm still in spring break mode. Hashtag ooh nada. Hashtag follow seniors.
Dude, I'm still so busy. Hashtag ISA, hashtag nerd life, hashtag won't stop, hashtag Urkel, hashtag did I do that?
Are you guys pumped for India night?
Yeah!
Hashtag
Arjun's coming.
Hashtag
after party.
Hashtag
Oh my.
Hashtag
Brolo.
Hashtag
Start from the bottom.
Hashtag
Oh my.
Hashtag
Candy dropper.
Hashtag
I'm gonna get his pants.
Dude, I'm so excited for Chi-Town.
Hashtag Mohu's win all day. Hashtag Mr. Chi-Town. Hashtag Dark Knight. Hashtag why so serious. Hashtag TBD. Hashtag Sha-na-na, Sha-na-na-na. Hashtag I'm not even Mohu. Hashtag straight up North Indian.
Hey, don't forget about me. Hashtag Maharashtrian. Hashtag going.
Hashtag nobody cares.
Speaking of Mitesh, why does Gujarati food sound so dangerous?
Hashtag Dokla.
Hashtag Bafra.
Hashtag kakra.
Hashtag GUJJU.
Hashtag Kantaben. Hashtag Che.
You guys need to relax. Hashtag Thuggu Pride. Hashtag These Gujas Ain't Loyal. Hashtag Krish Brown.
Hey Krishna, how you been? Hashtag Babyface. Hashtag 21 Club. Hashtag Junior Express. Hashtag Fizza. Hashtag Work Team. Hashtag Do It For The Vibe.
Hashtag I ain't gonna do it.
Krishna's taken. What that Jordy?
Hashtag no one can beat Bunga Jody's dough.
Hashtag Brah.
Hashtag
I Bungra.
Hashtag
Subs.
Hashtag
Dollar Mandy.
Hashtag
Tunak tunak tung tunak tunak tung tunak tunak tung da.
Let's leave the singing to those who can. Hashtag Abbas. Hashtag Arjun. Hashtag he's so hot.
Hashtag so is Entourage.
Hashtag they call me Vinny Chase. Hashtag I am Queens Boulevard.
Hashtag LOL.
haha, so fun.
But we had great facials though. Hashtag Upsaras. Hashtag that smile though. Hashtag let me take a selfie.
You know who has great facials? Olaf. Hashtag frozen. Hashtag let it go. Hashtag do you wanna build a snowman?
Hashtag no.
Hashtag okay bye.
Hashtag But else is a babe.
Hashtag Ariel's gorgeous.
Hashtag Belle has beauty and brains.
Hashtag
Cinderella.
Hashtag
Missing Slipper.
Hashtag
Jasmine's mine.
Hashtag Abu made that movie though.
Hashtag who we beat.
Hashtag Disney Princesses.
Hashtag who we beat.
Hashtag GDC.
Hashtag 1, 2, 3, 4 get on the dance floor.
Hashtag Radha on the dance floor.
Hashtag Papu can't dance sala.
Hashtag slow down.
Hashtag Grab the wall.
Hashtag gas pedal. Gas pedal. Gas pedal.
Guys.
Hey, what's up, pedestrian?
Hashtag shut the